Hey cuties, PeachY here, welcome back to a new video, and in this video we're going to do a complete recap of everything you missed in today's Monster High Mattel Creations Fan Club membership exclusive live stream. So let's get into it. They all introduced themselves and then they started to answer questions. Now remember, we didn't actually they didn't actually get questions live. There was no live commentating, so these were questions that they just picked out themselves prior and that they were able to prepare their answers for. So that's such a coward move, because of course they're not going to answer to any fan questions in the moment, because then they would get all these questions about collector releases, restock, bots, etc. And of course they don't want to deal with all that crap because they know we're right, because they know, so they want to avoid all that, trouble. And they just picked out the most bland and generic questions you've ever heard of. I assure you, most of these haven't even been really asked by any fans, because no one's actually asking these questions. No one actually cares. We're all asking the most important questions, but they don't care to answer us about these questions that we actually care about. So instead, we got these questions. So the first question was, who's your favorite character? See, who... no one asked that. No one's going around asking, on forums, on a membership that you gotta pay for, who is the designer's favorite character. Sure, it's a nice thing to know perhaps, but girl, there are much more important things going on right now in Mattel Creations and Monster High that we need answers to, and not knowing who the designer's favorite characters are is not on the priority list right now, so it's no one actually cares. I'm sorry, but no. So no one asked that. Realistically speaking, no one actually cared. So of course they made that question up probably, and they all and honestly, to me it felt like they were just trying to buy time, and it was padding. They were just trying to fill up the runtime and to some capacity. So they literally just started asking these very broad questions. And the next question was how they get inspired. Again, what even kind of a question is that? How do they get inspired? Girl, I'm not here to a 10-day workshop, a masterclass on how to become a designer. I'm not here to learn on how you do things. I'm here to learn about new dolls. I'm here to learn about, insight into what's happening behind the scenes. If I wanted to know how the business runs, I would, there's courses you can take. This is not what we're doing here. I don't want to know how you get inspired. I just, it just doesn't make any sense. It really felt like padding to me. And so they started going on they started explaining oh yeah, this is how we get inspired. And I mean, it was interesting to hear the whole process, I guess, but it really felt like it was just padding. They were really just trying to fill out the runtime, because they only had so much to show when it comes to actual dolls, as we'll see later on. The third question was, of all dolls, what are you most proud of? This was at least a more unique question and not as broad. But again, not even really, there was no actual insight or news that came out of this. Nothing really juicy. So, nothing really came out of this. But it was nice to hear everyone's, pick and why. But even for some of them, I was do they even know the character? Do they even know anything about the actual character's personality and stuff? Anyways, what is the hardest part about being a designer? That was interesting, actually, because they briefly talked about leaks. And I was ooh, it's gonna get juicy, we're finally gonna get somewhere. We're finally gonna hear some tea, what they think about leaks and why and how they happen, etc. But nope. Annalise mentioned really quickly leaks. She didn't even say leaks. She said sometimes it sucks that sometimes when they work on stuff, projects, that stuff comes out early to the public. And then someone else said, "Oh, you mean leaks?" And then she said yeah, leaks. And then they all laughed, and then they moved on. So again, they didn't even really confirm anything. I just think it would have been really interesting for them to touch on the subject of leaks, because it is such a undeniable part of the community in any doll space. So I think it would have been interesting. But I guess they are not allowed to talk about leaks. But they could have talked about older leaks, like from what came out this year. It doesn't have to be stuff for next year. So, because they also mentioned that, one of the hardest things about being a designer is that they have to always work, like months ahead of time, or like a year ahead of time, to have like next year's dolls ready. And then they always have to work ahead of time to have future dolls ready and designs ready. So it's like, yeah, then that's interesting. But like, again, like, why don't we talk about leaks? It's all connected, right? So but yeah, anyways, then they actually showed up the first doll, which was holiday Clawdeen. Now I guarantee you they only showed her because they realized, oh, she didn't sell enough. So we'll plug her really quickly here in a live stream, and we'll just describe how awesome she looks, and then that's it. And the only insight that they gave us from the actual designer, who wasn't even there because she was sick apparently, is that Clawdeen's theme is actually inspired by geodes and crystals, which I kind of see on the shoes and the headband and like the print on her dress. But even then, it's not really obvious that it's like inspired by crystals and geodes and like rock formations, whatever, etc. So even then, I'm like, okay, I mean, it's a good explanation, but like they could have definitely done some more with that theme. Okay, but then they moved on. That was it. Like literally, they only brought Clawdeen in to like plug her really quickly because they knew Vampire Heart Dracula. She took up all the attention away from Clawdeen, so they had to get people to buy Clawdeen somehow. And then they showed the live action dolls from the second movie. And we had seen these before, in TikToks, Reels. And here we actually got a really good close-up look at these. So that was really fun. That was really good. Nice to see them really up close again, to see their details and to see the process of like, okay, like why this and why that. But overall, again, like they're not going to sell these. These are oaks. These are one-of-a-kind dolls, and they never even really specified if we're ever going to get live action dolls, like if we're going to get a third movie installment, like if we would get live action dolls for that third movie. Which, by the way, are we ever getting a third movie greenlit? Because it hasn't happened yet, not to my knowledge. So are we not getting a third movie, live action movie? That's insane. Like it should have been announced by now. It happened really quickly with the second movie. They announced it right after the first movie released. I feel like so where is the announcement for the third movie? I'm waiting. We need the trilogy, at least one more movie, please. There's so many characters that they could introduce, so it's like it needs to happen. But yeah, anyways, so hopefully if they do make another movie, they would make live action dolls based on the movie. But again, there's no information. They just basically explained the design, and they made observations on the dolls, which were very obvious, again, for anyone in general. So and then they touched on the main big T that came out of this live stream, which was the Rochelle Goyle collector doll, Fang vote collector doll. We finally saw her packaging, and we finally actually saw her real life doll. And remember how in the stock photos her gloves were missing and like the colors were off? They weren't as pastel. Well, I guess they heard our feedback because they fixed it. The gloves are back. You can see that she's wearing gloves in the actual box, and it seems that the colors are much more faded and much more pastel, so they're not as vibrant. So I guess the stock photos that they took were with a doll that wasn't final yet, so that is very interesting. And then of course I assume that's because they also didn't have pictures of the actual box yet, because they were still working on it, perhaps, because the actual box looks so good. Like it has like a really nice glass aspect with like the oh my gosh, the stained glass, like forming the image of Rochelle on the front. And the box designer, I forget her name, but she explained that even if you hold up the box to the light, you can see that it actually shines through those panels that look like stained glass because it's actually see-through. So that is so bizarre and so awesome. That is so intricately done, and like it just looks amazing. So yeah, I love the box design, packaging on point. The doll herself actually looks pretty decent. I'm definitely very happy that she actually has her gloves, and you know, she's more accurate now to the actual artwork. But you know, even then, I'm still not like amazed by her, and I also didn't get her at the time, so I don't know if I'm ever gonna get her. But yeah, she looks good, definitely. But something about her face looks kind of shocked. Like she looks shocked. She looks scared or something. Like maybe the lashes are too big or something. But her face looks squished. But she looks good. I like the dress. It looks very detailed. The purse, it still feels busy. Like the gloves, the ruffles, the layers, the corset belt piece. Like it all feels like a lot. You know what I mean? And the print as well, the colors, the headpiece, you know, like the shoes that you can't even see. It all feels like a lot of, like it all feels like they're competing for attention. But it's all like too loud. So I feel like the Fang vote overall kind of like ended up not working out really perfectly. But yeah, that's anyway. She looks good. She looks good. Basically, I'm happy we finally got to see her because it's been a while, and I honestly forgot she existed. Like I kid you not. I was like, oh yeah, she's supposed to come out too. So yeah, next year sometime, I'm assuming. So yeah, I can't wait to see more pictures of her because these were really you know, from far away, and the quality wasn't the best, also because of the live stream you know, browser. But yeah, I'm happy that we at least got to see Rochelle here in this live stream, and overall the live stream was pretty tame because again, no one even really got to ask questions that were actually important because there was no live commentating available. So it was all like, you know, prepared for them to just, you know, keep it safe, keep it risk free, which is understandable. But like, again, they cannot run away from their problems forever. Like they have to confront us fans with our questions sooner or later, especially because that is what we want out of our memberships. We don't just want a yearly live stream where they talk about dolls that have been released so they can, you know, plug them again so we buy them, or they talk about dolls and how they have certain, you know, like just objectively speaking of like dolls and how they look like I don't need to see someone explain to me how a doll looks like, you know, like I can do it on myself. Like I'm here, I'm paying for a membership because I'm awaiting for something more to come out of this. But yeah, anyways. And that was the video. I hope y'all enjoyed. Leave a like, share, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and consider becoming a member today to support the channel if you're able to, and so you don't miss out when I post more content like this coming your way daily and keeping you up to date with all the doll tea you love. Stay safe, be kind. I hope this next time stay peachy. Kisses.